Coach, before we get into the season, just if you can, the Ring of Honor, what does that mean to you? What does that kind of add to your legacy here?
I mean, it's a surreal moment, honestly. Something that really, truly, I mean, it still hasn't hit. I mean, you think about, the names that's inside that stadium and the type of players they were, the type of coaches they were. Mr. Bradley was obviously a wonderful man. So just to be up there with those guys is truly an honor. But it's just surreal. It just takes me, honestly, it just takes me back to that 6-year-old boy, little kid that just wrote down all his dreams that he wanted to accomplish in life. And just to go back and reflect on that list and to see some of the things that happened over the course of my life, it truly is amazing just to see the favor of God that's truly on my life. And really the only thing that I'm hoping whenever they decide what game and all the details and stuff like that, truly I'm just hoping that a lot of my former teammates, hopefully a couple coaches, will be able to attend because even though that'd be my name, it was a lot of people that had a hand in making me the type of player that I was. So hopefully I get a lot of family and friends that's able to attend because those type of things don't happen every day, and so that's really what I'm looking forward to, just trying to hopefully send as many teammates as possible. The first teammate that I talked to was James Davis, and that wasn't a surprise to me, just considering the relationship that we have, and so that meant a lot. And then obviously Jacoby Ford, considering the relationship that we had. So just those two guys that reached out, man, that truly meant a lot to me. Just by receiving their text messages and congratulations. So I'm just looking forward to that day and being amongst a lot of family and friends.
Coach, Phil and Will came in together,
Yes.
great friends, roomed together. How is Phil taken to being the unquestioned, veteran leader of that running back group?
I mean, he's done a great job this spring, honestly. Phil is who Phil we thought would be, and I tell people all the time, and I think about it all the time. Even though me and Shipley skill sets were very similar, me and Mafah journey is pretty much identical if you really look at it. You think about my time here, it was James Davis for those first 3 years, and then obviously my last year I took the bull by the horns. The same thing. You think about the Mafah man. Had to share the load with a great player, Shipley. Now he has the opportunity to take the Bulls by the horns and really lead a group, and he done a tremendous job. I mean, everybody on our team respects that guy, from the players to the coaching staff, and he has a certain way that his leadership skills show, totally different than how Shipley's own was, and everybody accepts that. But he's one of those guys, when he speaks, you listen because he don't speak often. So whenever he says something, it's important. And so those younger guys, and I challenged them, this spring is, hey, you better take advantage of this opportunity to have, a guy that's, NFL caliber type player in your room and try to learn as much as you can, both on and off the field. That was my challenge to those young puppies in there, and I think they've done a great job this spring.
You mentioned you and James. What similarities do you see with Phil that you saw when you were here?
From what standpoint?
In terms of just his play on the field? Obviously, you talked about the journey, but
Yeah. I mean, he's a very powerful kid. I mean, he's 230 pounds. I mean, he's chiseled. I mean, he's got very soft hands, really good feet, and then he's faster than what a lot of people think. And so we've seen that on display against Notre Dame. How he was breaking those long runs, and so those are the similarities that I think you can probably say between him and James was probably very similar. Probably a little faster, probably than James, and probably probably actually do more catching the ball than what we probably asked James to do. But I mean, he's a pro's pro. He understands how to take care of his body. He want to be coached hard. He want to set the tone for everybody, and it's been a great journey just to see his growth over the years, honestly. you know, because it was times where, you know, you had to challenge him, and he accepted that. Now he really want to be coached hard. He want to make sure that, you know, every stone is unturned, and you know, that he's able to put his best foot forward. So now we're, you know, in a whole different realm of, you know, how do you go from being a great to a great player? You know, everybody know what you have done those last 5 to 6 weeks. Now, how do you have a counter? Just like boxing, you better have a counter punch. If not, you're gonna be on the canvas. And so we always talking about that, and you know, he'll do a great job. I know he'd have done a great job this summer getting his body ready, and then mentally, that's where I have to come in and make sure that he's ready to go each and every game.
How close is that competition behind Mafah? You know, maybe guys like Adams and Haynes and Jarvis Green.
Yeah, I mean, it's a real close competition, you know, and that was really the challenge, you know, for these guys coming into the spring is really who's going to be that guy behind Mafah. You know, we know what he can do. You know, you wouldn't want to see him carry the ball 40 times, but if we ask him to do it, we know he can do it. And so that was really my challenge, and you know, Keith did an awesome job this spring. Took another step forward. Jarvis Green took another step forward. Obviously, we didn't have Jay Haynes out there, you know, for spring. And then the freshman came in, David Easy. He did a great job. I mean, he pretty much was like a freshman, you know, just trying to learn it, trying to get the footwork down. But you know, as the spring went on, he got better. So, you know, the good thing is going into this fall camp, everybody's healthy. You know, and so it's going to be a really good, healthy competition in there, and you know, we'll see how it plays out. You know, and those guys, they respect that. You know, and they love that challenge, and that's the beauty of this game, is that, you know, competition brings out the best of everybody. Either you run to the competition or you shy away from the competition. And the thing I'll say is every guy in that room, they run to the competition. They don't shy away from it. So I'm looking forward to this fall camp. Seeing all those guys out there, having a chance to go out and compete, you know, for that 2 and 3 spot, you know. And so, but at the end of the day, man, I tell everybody that running back position specifically, everybody has to be ready, just because of the pounding and the hits and stuff that you take over the course of a season. I mean, you just never know what happened. I mean, we seen that happen several years ago when we was down, you know, Shipley and Kobe Pace, you know, and so and Mafah had to step up. So you have to be ready to go, no matter where you are on that pecking order. To me, you should always be yourself as a starter. That should always be the mindset, and that's always the message that I try to send to those guys, is that, hey, yeah, you might not be the first guy to run out there, but you're always one ankle away from being a starter, so you better prepare like you the starter. And then you're just another set of eyes for the guys that is a starter, you know. And so I don't want guys that just come in and just watching the game. You know, I want you to be in tune, seeing what's going on, so when, you know, Phil, for instance, he come off the field, you're able to share what you've seen out there, you know, and we can try to confirm that with the tablets now that we'll have on the sideline. So all those guys do a great job of understanding that, and so, like I said, I'm just looking forward to an awesome fall camp.
Shipley was so vocal
Yeah.
on the sideline, on the field.
Yeah.
Is that something? How do you make up for that hole that you have?
Well, I mean, everybody has their way of leadership. You know, James Davis, I mean, he was very vocal and boisterous, just like Shipley was, where I was totally different. You know, that's the same thing now. You had Shipley, who was very vocal and boisterous and had that fierce competitor in him. And you have Mafah, who's a fierce competitor, but he's not as boisterous, I guess you would say, as Shipley was. And that's okay. We don't want him to be that. I want all my guys in that room to be who they are. I don't want them to be somebody that they're not. And so I don't ask them to go out and just be a rah-rah-rah guy. If that's not you, that's not you. I wasn't a rah-rah-rah guy. But everybody knew when I said something, I brought it to the table, that it meant a lot. And so you just have to find, you know, what's your style of leadership and go with that. You know, because, you know, this day and age, these guys, they'll sniff out that fakeness. Honestly, they really will. And so if you're around here trying to be fake and be somebody that you're not, you know, they're not going to follow that. And so I think that's where Phil has done a great job. He understands what type of leader he is, and he don't try to, you know, deviate from that, you know. And so I'm not worried about, you know, missing out on a guy that's, you know, so vocal on the sideline and so emotional. That's really not my concern going into the season, honestly. I think, you know, all those guys have great leadership skills, and they just have to fine tune and figure out what's best for them.
Are there any aspects of Phil's game that you've seen him try to work towards heading into the season, or anything that you challenged him to improve on from last year?
Oh yeah, I mean just those one-cut mentalities. I mean he's a very powerful runner, and sometimes I have to remind him that, hey Phil, you 230, you're not 200, and over a course of a game, people not going to want to tackle that type of player, and so he has to understand that he's going to win some battles, he's going to lose some battles, but if you just stay the course and and do the right job of making your reads, you'll be perfectly fine. So. And Phil's one of those guys, I can tell him one thing and he'll correct it correctly. I mean, it happened in the spring. It was a cut that we was watching film from the previous practice. We talked about it. I say, next time if this, scenario presents itself, try this move. Guess what? The next practice, that scenario presented itself, he did it and he seen the difference. So he's one of those guys that, you don't have to sit there and tell him 50 times, how to correct something. You tell him one time and he's going to get it and it's going to be corrected. So that's why I say his growth has really, evolved.
We saw glimpses of Jay Haynes in the fall. And excuse the comparison, but can he be the lightning to Mafah's thunder?
The lightning?
Can he kind of bring the speed?
Yeah, he could. He could. I mean, he has that capability. I mean, like you said, we've seen glimpses of it in the fall of him, making, sharp cuts and exploding through. So he definitely has, the ability to do that. But like I say, we'll see how it goes this fall camp. All those guys bring something totally different. But he does have that capability to bend that, I guess you say, lightning.
How's Haynes' hands catching the ball out of the backfield early on in his career?
I mean, all those guys, they can catch the ball pretty well to me, honestly. It's one of those things where, are you a confident catcher? You know what I mean? It's easy for guys to catch the ball. Are you confident catching the football? And I think all those guys, they are confident catching the ball. When you do your technique right and you don't turn too early or you don't take your eyes off the ball, you're normally going to catch the ball. It's normally when you try to take your eyes and you're trying to peek downfield and see what's going to happen. That's normally when you drop passes. And so all those guys that work hard this whole spring and summer, really working on their pass catching ability. But I think Jay has pretty good hands. Even though he wasn't asked to do that a lot in high school, I mean, they just turned around and handed him the football, and he done it. But he did play defense in high school, so he played safety. So, he knows how to, I guess you say he does have really good ball skills.
You said they all bring something different to the table. What is Easy? What can you say that to you about him?
Easy is a mixture of both, power and has the speed. Now, Easy, on the other hand, he will be, I know you asked the question earlier about filling that void that Shipley brought. I can see Easy over the course of his career being that type of guy. I mean, he's a very high emotional guy. He's very a fierce competitor. He want to be great. He doesn't shy away from competition. I think he rises to the occasion when the fire gets hot. But it just, just like any freshman, some guys, it hits quicker than others, and he done had a process where it's taking time, but that's okay. We're not asking him to go out there and, be day one starter. We want him to take his time, and when his time comes, he'll be ready to rock and roll. But he's a mixture of both power and speed, and can catch the ball because he was asked to do that. He can block. That's what he comes from, that system at North Cobb with Coach Queen down there. So he comes from a great system and a great background that he's very confident in doing anything that you ask him to do. That's easy. I was in Florida. I was at my mom's house. I was in my living room. I was actually planning my. I do a 4th of July fireworks show in my hometown. I'd have done it for the past 13 years. So I was talking to my mom and some more people about, the whole logistics and stuff like that of how we wanted to get ran and, make sure that it's a great show for my hometown. And I was playing with my baby boy, Cade. He was running around, and one of my good friends, that's been one of my friends almost 20 years, Tim Beret, texted me and asked me, was I in town on vacation? I just said, well, I'm out of town. And next thing you know, I just left it out. Like, I'm just out of town right now. And then he called me probably like 2 minutes later. He was like, well, I just wanted to inform you that, you have been selected for the Ring of Honor. this year. And I was like, you can't be serious right now, you know, just because you just don't think about those things. I get a lot of chatter from a lot of fans and stuff like when it's gonna happen, but I never really sat back and wondered like, okay, when is it gonna happen? Like that just wasn't my mindset. My mindset was making sure that we was finna have a great 4th of July fireworks show. That was really what my mindset was. And so when he said that, it kind of just made me just pause for a moment, really, and really just reflect on my career here, my teammates, my coaches. Really, like I say, take me back all the way to just that childhood moment when I just sat there and in my bed and just really just wrote down all my dreams and goals that I wanted to accomplish. And one of them was I wanted to be known as one of the greatest players at my high school. And I wanted to be known as one of the greatest players at whatever college that I attended. That was really one of my goals. And so to sit back and go back and reflect on that later and see some of the things that I'd accomplished, like I say, over the course of my life, it's like you just put a check box by it. And man, it just, whenever you just put hard work, sacrifice, dedication, and you just trust God and you just believe it, anything can happen. And so it was a great day. It was one of the greatest days that I had this summer. It was one of the greatest days that I had this summer.
When you think about, you'll be the second person in this side of the century that's been inducted into the Ring of Honor.